Hello YouTube and welcome to D&D Daily. Today I'm doing a blind stat block rating that comes from Critical Role's Call of the Netherdeep, the Sword Wraith Commander. Sword Wraith Commanders haunt battlefields, attacking anyone who questions their valor, but looking kindly on those who sing their praises. The Sword Wraith Commander is a medium undead, typically lawful evil, has an armor class of 18 and has 127 hit points, and has a movement speed of 30 feet. It has +4 to strength, +2 to dex, +4 to con, +0 to intelligence, +1 to wisdom, and +2 to charisma. We have proficiency in perception and have resistance to necrotic, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. We are immune to poison damage, and we are immune to the exhausted, frightened, poisoned, and unconscious conditions. We have dark vision out to 60 feet and a passive perception of 14. We speak all the languages we knew in life. We are a challenge rating 8 and have a proficiency bonus of +3. Our first ability is Turning Defiant. The commander and any other sword wraiths within 30 feet of it have advantage on saving throws against effects that turn undead. We also come with Unusual Nature. The commander doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Moving into our actions, we have Multi-Attack. The commander makes 2 longsword or longbow attacks. The longsword is a melee weapon attack with +7 to hit, a reach of 5 feet, hits 1 target, and on average does 8 slashing damage, or 9 slashing damage if used with 2 hands. Notably, we do have a shield to get that 18 AC, so we'll be using the 1-hand feature unless we want to drop our shield for that extra 1 point of damage, which we probably don't. Next up is Longbow, which is a ranged weapon attack with +5 to hit, a reach out to 150/600 feet, hits 1 target, and on hit does an average of 6 piercing damage. Call to Honor. We can do this once a day. If the commander has taken damage during this combat, it gives itself advantage on attack rolls until the end of its next turn, and 1d4 +1 Sword Wraith warriors appear in unoccupied spaces within 30 feet of it. The warriors last until they drop to 0 hit points, and they take their turns immediately after the commander's turn on the same initiative count. And finally, our bonus action, which is Martial Fury. The commander makes 1 longsword or longbow attack, which deals an extra, on average, 9 necrotic damage on a hit, and attack rolls against it have advantage until the start of its next turn. I find the wording of Martial Fury kind of interesting. I'm not sure what it is referring to, and attack rolls against it have advantage until the start of its next turn. Is that referencing the Sword Wraith Commander, or is that referencing the target of the attack? Let me know in the comments down below. I have also not looked at Sword Wraith Warriors yet, so I cannot comment on what they're going to contribute to the Sword Wraith Commander, but it's pretty clear that the commander is meant to be a commander. And it sounds like there may be Sword Wraith Warriors to begin with, and this might be like reinforcements, or it may be you run into the commander who then summons them, and that's their job, is to be the summons. We'll see when we take a look at them. Whatever the case is, we're going to want to summon those Sword Wraiths as soon as possible. We have to take damage first, but the second we're able to, we want to, because it's going to improve our action economy substantially. After that, we're genuinely not that complicated. We're like the most straightforward of warriors. If they're within melee attack, we're going to use our longsword. And if they're at range, well, we can't really use our bow because we have a shield out. We'd have to use an action to drop the shield, free action, pull out the bow, drop our sword, then attack. So we're 2 turns deep, and we also lose our shield to use the longbow. So we really don't want to be using the longbow almost ever. Kind of interesting that we have a shield and a longbow thing going on here. So I'm going to assume that Martial Fury is marking the target, and all attacks against the marked target have advantage until the start of its next turn. With that assumption made, we're going to start with our bonus action Sword Attack, which is going to do some extra damage. Creating a flowchart for the Sword Wraith Commander is going to look like this. At the soonest available option, use Call to Honor, summon your Wraith friends. All other actions, you're going to use your bonus action first to get off your Martial Fury. Once you hit them, you're going to do a bit of extra damage, and now all attacks against them are going to have advantage. So now your next 2 longswords attacks are going to have advantage, and all your Sword Wraiths will also have advantage on that target. And as a group, we're probably intelligent enough to know to swarm 1 person at a time, do a ton of damage, and then move on to the next one. The longbow really shouldn't come into play unless very specific situations are met. It takes too much action economy, and we lower our defense to do it, so we really don't want to do it unless absolutely necessary. That has been my initial impression of the Sword Wraith Commander. How would you run one? How would you do it differently? Let me know in the comments down below. We are D&D Daily. We release new D&D content every single day, so if that's interesting to you, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.